Okay, so let's get into it. Today we're doing a deep dive into something the sources are calling the right to explainability when it comes to AI.
Which is, it's a huge deal right now.
A massive deal, because AI is basically, running everything, finance, healthcare.
Hmm.
But the why behind its decisions often feels like it's locked in a total black box.
And that black box, that's where the trust issues start. It creates this huge credibility problem.
You're talking about that PwC stat, right?
Yeah, it's staggering. You have something like 90% of executives who think, yeah, we're building trust in our AI.
They think they're doing a great job.
But then you ask consumers, and only 30% of them agree. I mean, that's not a gap, that's a chasm.
It's a chasm, exactly. And that disconnect is pretty much why governments are finally having to step in.
Like with the European Union's AI Act.
Right. They're basically looking at these high-risk systems and saying, nope, you have to be transparent to stop, unfairness before it even starts.
But that leads to the big question for the people actually building these things. We want these incredibly complex models, these deep neural networks.
Because they're the most powerful, the most accurate.
Exactly. So if you force them to simplify their logic so a human can get it, aren't you? Aren't you sacrificing performance?
That's the fundamental trade-off, isn't it? This balance between raw power and the human need to understand why a decision was made.
And the solution isn't to make the AI less powerful, it's to build better tools around it, what we call explainable AI or XAI.
Okay, so XAI. The sources brought up a couple of these tools, SHAP and LIME. For someone who isn't a data scientist, what are those? How do they actually crack open the box?
Think of them as an instant translator for a single decision. They don't change the complex model underneath. But tools like SHAP and LIME, they can pinpoint the top 2 or 3 factors that tip the scale for one specific outcome.
So let's take a real-world example, a credit card application. Instead of just getting a flat denied from some algorithm,
Right, an opaque judgment.
the system, using XAI, would be able to say, denied because your income-to-debt ratio was the #1 factor.
Precisely. It turns this invisible, mysterious decision into something tangible, something you can actually understand and maybe even act on.
So it's not just a technical fix, then?
Oh, not at all. It's a whole approach. It's about governance from day one. You have to document your design choices, what data you fed the model. The tools are just one piece of the puzzle.
And this gets into the really big societal stuff. This is about, fairness. It's about making sure the AI isn't perpetuating bias in things like job applications or healthcare.
And when we say algorithmic bias, it's important to be clear. It usually doesn't mean someone programmed the AI to be, say, racist.
Right. It means the AI is just a mirror. It's reflecting the flawed historical data we gave it to learn from.
Absolutely. And explainability. It forces those flaws out into the open. It gives organizations a way to trace a bad decision back to its source and, fix the system. It's about accountability.
Looking forward, one of the sources made a really interesting point. It said that for kids growing up now, understanding how an AI thinks is going to be as basic a skill as, like, reading and writing.
I completely agree. It becomes a fundamental part of digital literacy. It empowers you to be an informed citizen in a world run by these systems.
So what's the big takeaway here?
I think it's pretty clear. The right to an explanation. It's the bedrock. It's the foundation that all public trust in AI has to be built on. Without it, the whole thing just crumbles.
And that leads to a final, pretty provocative question from the sources. What happens if we fail? If we don't make this a priority?
It's a scary thought.
The risk they suggest is a future where all the critical decisions in your life are made by these inscrutable machines that we can't question. And that can, erode some really core democratic values. So the next time you run into a black box decision, you should probably ask yourself, do you have the right to know why?